Hi, it's Barbara, VintageHotties1. I'm going to do a two-part video today, and I'm going to discuss my technique of what I learned of how to get white background photos and the system that I put in place that is my go-to. So I hope that my information helps you to build up your system and take wonderful, beautiful white background photos for your resale. All right, talk to you soon. Hi, it's Barbara, VintageHotties1. I'm coming to you because I've been told that I have advanced in my photography for my listings and doing like the white background. So I'm going to show you what I have learned and how I've taken what I've learned and put it into a little photography studio that I work with. And here we go. I'm going to flip the camera around and just show you my quick system, okay? So what I've done here is I've created a white backdrop. First of all, I have for larger items, I'm going to show you here, I bought the photography stand that you put your backdrop on. So that's here. You can see the black there, that frame goes all the way across and then to here, and then it drops down. So that backdrop I use for larger items. What I do, or where I got this white backdrop at, was at my craft store, Hobby Lobby, in the teacher section. What that's used for is a chalkboard backdrop that the teachers line their chalkboards with to cover it, and they have many styles of different designs and such, but I chose this one for resale because it's the white and Google likes it, the algorithms like it, eBay likes it, and it really shows off the piece. So I'm not really trying to take photos of art right now. I'm trying to sell items, so I want the piece to be featured, so I use white. Now, this here, this box that you see, those are the, you can get those at like the 99-cent store or Walmart. They're used for photography, so you can find them in the stationery aisle. So I have 3. And so I have 2 going along the sides, and then 1 that joins up on the back there. So I kind of created a box. This, you can see, is the flap. It doesn't close all the way, so it gives me perfect access to my item. When I'm doing photos, I can enlarge the item and bring it to me so I can open up my window, and this helps me to fluctuate with lighting and shading and such. And so now I am actually sitting far back, about 2.5 feet from the item. And then I just can do this and then snap a picture, and it's good to go. I can do different angles from here. I don't even have to move. I can zoom in here, take little details. Anyhow, so that's how that works. I have these white sheets here. I tape it down where I want it. The reason for the tape down is I can actually move the item without having to move the item, and then tape it back down where I want it. Now, this here is in the fabric section. It's the, what's it called? It's what they line, like, you know, for inner seams and such. Oh, I can't remember the name of it, but I'm sure anybody in the craft section, you just, what's it called? It's like an inner seam lining, but anyways, it's really thin, kind of sheer. It's not it's like kind of like the fabric is, I don't know, it's kind of rough, but yeah, so that's what it is. And it gives that fogged lighting, which prevents the shadowing, like you see no shadow. Without it, I'll turn off the lights and then you can see how the item without it would have shadow. So this is the filter. Now what I did was I cut out, let me see if you can see it here. So the side, this piece here, I'll show you on this side. I did a cutout. So you can see how I did like a cutout window on there. And then, yeah, there you go. And then, so I created like a box hole there. And then just glued the filter on there. Infusion? Yeah, I'm still trying to think of the name of this stuff. I used to be a seamstress. Can't think. Anyway, so you can see how that goes on there all the way across to the back. And then what you're seeing here is I have this flipped over this board, and then I have some that runs down the bottom, which is underneath this here, which is underneath these cover boards. You can get these in any different color. So if you wanted to, you know, have a different color background, you just buy a new board. But yeah, so I have it draped back there, and I was using that, but it has wrinkles. So it showed up in the photography. So I just went with these after all. And it helps because I can change up the color. So that's pretty much it. It's not hard to assemble. And then I put this also on top of the board. So when, like, let's just say in the evening when shadows are difficult and lighting is difficult because it's not light and bright, you got to create your own. So what I'll do is I'll close this completely and then I'll pin it down here like that. So it's completely closed, so it's preventing all that outside shadow or it actually catching my glare in the item if it's shiny. And then I'll just come up from here and I'll do the same thing. I'll, of course, do the photography in the right direction, get this thing out of my way, and then I can just zoom in on it again and do my photos. But anyway, so that's how I get my white and brights. It's very inexpensive to do this. And then these are my lights. They're just little small ones, but they actually, I've gotten other ones, but these ones work the best. I don't know why. So those I got on Amazon, really inexpensive lighting. And then, yeah, so this is just my workstation. I keep all my up-and-coming pieces that I'm going to list and photographed, near and dear to me, and this is my workspace. So thank you for watching my video. I hope these tips bring white photos to you and share the love. Thank you. Bye for now.
You can just put that every single time he's like loves something, he spins.
Okay, so I'm here right now in front of my listing drafts on eBay, and I want to talk about how I get the white background off of my laptop in the draft mode, putting it into a white background. So from my phone, where I do my initial listing, and then I come to my laptop to finalize it, this is where I finalize my white background. So I'm going to turn this around and I'm going to hope that we get this recorded well for your viewing. Otherwise, I'll try to explain it along the way so that you can at least listen, because sometimes the reflection just don't work. So right now I'm trying to wonder why my eyes are going in the other direction when I'm looking straight at my phone. So I'm going to YouTube a video on how to stop that from happening. Okay, going forward, I'm going to flip this around. I think. There we go. So, okay, here is my screen. Let me just set it up where you can actually see it good. And let it get balanced. Okay. Right here, it says resume draft. So I'm in my manage drafts. So you go to the one that you want to resume. Click on that. So I'll go slow because, you know, some people learn fast, some people don't. So the first thing, I'll just go through my listing with you. The first thing I'm going to see from the draft that I created on my phone, on my laptop now, you will see the title. And below title, you will see automatically updated item specific. So, and then below that, you will see subtitle. So subtitles, when you add those in, there is random fees, and I don't use them. I haven't looked into them. I'm just kind of running it simple right now. So on this here, it says automatically item specific. So these are things that I entered in when I was in my phone, but some of them automatically because they're in the title. So like Germany, see it here, and then plate, again, it's, where is it, here, and then gold, so that's there. So those things automatically populate, but that's not what we're here to talk about today. And then onward, so here's my custom label. These are the categories that eBay gives you a selection of. And then you can change them and move things into store categories. So if I wanted to say cottage country, then I can, you know, get all my cottage country items and put them in here as a category in itself, which makes it easier search for the customer. I find I like to have them randomly in there so everybody can just look through what they want. And here we have just, you know, just eBay information that comes through. This is where I would put any imperfection titles or anything like that. So here we are at photos. I just took you through the tour, and now here's where we're going to take our time. This part here, so this is like auto adjust. I always start here and I do this. I just click on it. And I see, does this describe the plate that I am selling? No, it does not. It actually is making it deeper tones, and it kind of actually looks like it has some black in there, and it does not. So I'm going to cancel. Then these here, so this one right here, this is to crop it. So I like to have even, it even, but watch what happens. So I'm going to give it the border that I'm looking for, top and bottom. Now right to left, I want to make sure that on right to left that's equal to, otherwise it just looks a tad sloppy. But here's the thing. Now right here you will see this is the original background color when I downloaded it from my phone. This is just the change of white background just by cropping it on your computer. Don't do it on the eBay app on your phone because it's difficult. This is where you can do it, and it actually does it correctly. So right here, since I like that, I am going to just hit save on that alone. So now it's cropped and the background's lighter. So now I could take a look over here and see if I was to do this, auto adjust, does that represent it? No. So I'm going to cancel that. Now I'm just going to go over here and do it myself. So this one's brightness and this one's like light and dark. So I can darken the color or lighten it. So here, this is going to brighten it. So I always start here. And I just bring that color up, and I'm not really looking at the plate right now, kind of, but not so much. What I'm really looking at is the background behind the plate. So you could take that all the way up to there, which for this plate actually does some good representation because it just brought out the peach in the mums. So I'm going to use that. So it's up to you. You could see how you could play with that. Sometimes I don't have to use it at all, but it depends on how it was originally photographed. So now I'm going to come right underneath, and I'm going to see if I can darken it just a little bit, because it'll bring out the color. So you can see right there, it's bringing out the color and the plate. So I like that. I think it's a good change. So I'm going to save that. Now this right here is like shadowing. So again, light to dark, but it's going to focus on the shadows. So I usually like going between, and my favorites where I kind of automatically find that I see the color coming out is between 13 and 15. And between, what was it, 40, no, 30, 38, 40, and then I like it over here in 72. So that's just me, and again, it depends on the photograph that was originally taken, but these are just some of my go-to spots that I find that I'm getting the contrast that I'm looking for. So here I am at 70. I think this just brought out the green. You can kind of see the glimmer around the edges from the gold. And then, of course, I have all these photographs right here that represent it in its original contents. And when you open up these on your PC, even though the background's darker, you can still see really good content in those photographs. But this right here, the reason you want this white background, as I understand, is that on Google and on platforms, many platforms, eBay particular, they like that white background because it searches well in the algorithms, and they talk to each other. So it also represents the piece that you're showing. Now, like clear glass, it's really, really super hard to get a good photograph. It's not impossible, but it takes a lot of work. So if you're a reseller and you're doing your own business, it takes a long time. So I always do my best to represent it, but I still have to learn some new techniques to do that representation and still get that white background. So I am still learning, but I'm sharing what I know. So here we have a good representation of the color. So I'm going to save it. And front face photo, this is going to be the first image that customers see when they're going through the search menu. So it looks pretty good. It's saved. Now let's just say it came out horrible. And I've had this happen. I can reset it. Or in the case that I lose it, don't do this. You can reset it from there. Once you make this listed and it's an active listing, then you're doing your editing photos and you don't like it, then you can cancel it. But in draft mode, it will actually say you're eliminating the entire draft, as I remember. I saw that the other day, so I was like, ooh, I don't want to do that. Okay, I got stuck with it. So fortunately, it was still, good, and I still had all the others to work with, but some of them I have to redo. Not many, but yeah. So that's how I was learning how to play with this process. Now, okay, back to where I was. So we like it. It has a nice light white background, has good shade, has good color on the leaves in contrast, and you can pick up that the color is peach. Also, in this case, if I wanted to make it even more white, I could do this. And again, watch the color. And I'm going to, actually, it's actually whiter than that. But see that? It just actually brightened it up even a little bit more. In this case, I don't need to do that. So I'm just going to click out of it, cancel. And the same thing for the brightness. I can actually make it darker at this point, or even just, I mean, you can actually go as white it out, but we're not doing that. And then here I can actually make the color change or darken. See that? So we're not going to do that. So we're going to cancel that. Here, coming back to this one for the shadowing, I can just go in it a little bit more and see if more color comes out. And it kind of does right here. So I could actually grab this, but I think I'm kind of content with what I have. Later on, it gives us something to come back to, like, you know, maybe you don't have the energy to list that day, or you just want to keep your algorithms up. You can come back to your photos and hit revise listing. And when you do that, you can play with them a little bit. And then after you revise the photo, you just come back down right here to the bottom. This is once it's listed and you're revising, and then you just say list item, whatever. And then just go through the process, like, you know, the little prompts that come up and such. But that's the way you can actually, when they say go edit your photos, that's a good way to trigger the algorithms. It is. So I don't have to be 100% perfect here on the first run, though I want it to be that. But I could always come back to it. And even if I come back, I could go for the second photo. I don't even have to touch the first one. And that could help me work my algorithms when I am, you know, having a listing, you know. Sometimes it just happens. You just don't have the time to go through the whole listing process. So it's just a good way to keep it going. Now, to finalize, so my photo's done, and that's how you do it. You just play with these things here. Again, I start here. If I just don't like it, I quit it. Excuse me. Come over here. If there's room to do a crop, I'll do a crop, which will give me some of that white. This is rotating. That's if I took a picture and it was upside down, I just simply rotate it into right side up. Now this again was the brightness, darkness on the surface of the item. And this is on the shadow, brightness, darkness. And again, this is just auto. So just stuff to play with. And you can just keep playing with it. You can do it a little bit, come back and do it and do it and do it until you get that perfect. You can do a little at a time. So good information. Now here, I just make sure everything else is right, and then I'm done. So for the photographing and such, it's all set, and I'm going to continue this listing. So I'm going to go ahead and call this one done. Thank you.